My name is Linda White, and I am a mother of a son who has autism. My son is named Ryan, and 27 years ago was my first pregnancy. I was excited about it. I thought I was doing everything right. My goal was to exercise. I worked full time. I ate the things I was supposed to eat. I went to all my doctor's appointments, and my husband and I are both athletic, and we love sports. And it was time for Ryan to come. So we get to the hospital, and lo and behold, Ryan was breech. So my doctor says, obviously, we're going to have a cesarean. I had a cesarean. Everything went well. And day 3 of Ryan's life, Ryan did not come back to the room with us. Ryan was actually having seizures. And so that put me into a whirlspin. And just in the spirit of Autism Awareness Month is why we want to share Ryan's story. So within that time frame of him being at the local hospital, not really knowing what was causing the seizures, I came home without my son. My son was still in ICU. My husband would go back and forth. I'm breastfeeding, I'm nursing, I'm crying. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm definitely praying. So as we move toward thinking he was still going to come home, we get another bombshell that he would have to go from our local hospital to a major hospital in another city. So we pack up, me still wearing maternity clothes, and we go. So in moving on along, he's still in ICU. He's still having the seizures. Finally, they even allowed us to stay. We got set up at Ronald McDonald House, and we even stayed there. The patients, the nurses, the staff, everyone was all helpful. But nevertheless, my heart was crushed. I did not understand what was going on with my child. For the first time, my only child, my firstborn. And so 6 weeks later, he finally gets to come home. We're still excited. And that entire year, he still had seizures. When he turned 1, he never met any of his milestones. And so we felt like, and we knew that something was wrong. We moved to age 3, and they said, oh, he's just developing delay. He's gonna catch up. Let's put him in some therapy. Let's let him go to early childhood interventions. But the bombshell again dropped when we had him tested at Texas Children, the Bluebird Clinic in Houston, Texas, at the age of 5, and we heard the word autism. We were devastated of a word we had never heard of 27 years ago. We didn't know what it was, what it meant, metabolically or genetically, where it come from. And so throughout this journey of Ryan being diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, it was heartbreak, it was hurt, it was pain, it was what do we do with this? And so after we picked ourselves up over a long period of time, we had to figure out intervention is the best way. Prayer is the best way, but we have to get in and see how do we best help him. So throughout this journey of this neurodivergent person who they didn't call it that then, it was autism on the spectrum. And so with getting him occupational therapy, physical therapy, he would go through experiences to where he would have behaviors to where he would act out. He would have meltdowns. He would be stimming. We learned all this language, the echolay, the screeching of those voices. And then you learn which sound is calming him down, and you learn which sound where he was actually having a meltdown. And he was overstimulated due to us going to a basketball game, and we didn't know that just a whistle was taking him into a world spin. And so as we continue to educate ourselves, and it's not easy. It sounds like it is, but it is a total journey. And every family looks at it differently. When you look at a child with autism, you automatically think that they're misbehaving intentionally, and they're not. Their brain is trained and rewired differently. And so As a mom, I felt like I didn't succeed, and that superwoman cape had to come off because I didn't know how to help my son. That's how I felt, is that I wasn't that mom. But as I continued to have support with my husband, my family, my friends, and of course with prayer, I just had to continue to dig deep. Even on the days that I didn't want to, there were a lot of low days, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of confusion. And trying to build those resources, listening to others and seeing what worked when medication worked. We finally agreed to medication when he was early in his early childhood, before he went into middle school, which I'll leave some of those stories for my husband to share. But it was a lot of major trying times with him at that time.
So the question is, how did we get here? When we talk about the term autism, as my wife was just speaking, I was kind of having to go back through memory lane. And I was listening to her voice and visualizing the things that we encountered in the early days as well as in the later days. We were confused. We was afraid. We were hurt. We experienced all of those emotions probably daily, because there was so little information out there at that time about autism. We were just flying by the seat of our pants. And as we went through that, as my wife spoke and said, we had no clue or any thoughts about what we would do if we had a child that had any disability. Let's know a disability that we had never heard of. So when that happened, we just decided in that moment it was going to be us against whatever he was diagnosed with. We were going to work together and stick together and fight together until we got answers. And with that being done, my wife stated, I remember coming home the day that he first started to have seizures and receiving a phone call, because actually I was on my way home to make the house ready for my wife and our child to come home. And I get a phone call to rush back to the hospital because our son was having seizures. And I remember walking into the emergency room, well, not the emergency room, but into the intensive care ICU for the infants, and seeing our son sitting on a little bed and his whole little body was just jumping with the seizures. And I'd never seen that before. And I pride myself on being somewhat tough, but in that moment, I wasn't. So as we moved along, as time progressed, we were not getting answers. The doctors was not giving us answers because they didn't know. And you could tell they didn't know because each day we got a different answer.
Oh dear.
So we just started to realize that there's a power greater than this doctor that has the answers for us. So we started to pray together and talk to God and asked him for support and assistance and information, pretty much. As my wife spoke earlier and said that we ended up in Houston.
Yeah.
We were in Houston for 6 weeks in the hospital with our child. And that's when I learned that time doesn't matter when you're with a loved one, or you don't even care about what day of the week it is. You don't even care what meal time it is. You just want to be there to support them. And that was the first time that I've ever had to have that amount of attention for someone that I love. And so when I think about autism and our child being diagnosed with it, you may think it's strange, but I kind of applaud it. And I applaud it because it made me a better man. It made me a better husband. It made me a better father than I would have been if my child probably would not have had any issues. Because it helped me to really deep down look at the quality that I was presenting to my children and my wife. And I know that it's a long story because our son is in his 20s now. And the time that we want to give to this message is not fully ready yet. Because there's still some things that she and I are going through as we look back over those years on how did we get from point A to point B.
Yes.
But one thing we want to let you all that's out there that's listening to this video or watching this video to understand is that our initial plan is not the plan that we ended up with.
Right.
Because when we even look at our career choice, my wife and I career choice was law enforcement, which we both were employed in federal law enforcement at the time of our child's birth. But it was something about what was going on with him that drew us to understand that there was a calling on our life to be more of a support to him in that time than what our career of law enforcement was calling us to do. So we learned how to go to programs and learn more about autism. We learned how to learn new skills to be able to apply them in our child's life to help him be the best version of himself. And also learning those skills taught us to be the best version of ourselves and how to utilize those skills. So my wife and I started to think maybe this is our calling. So the more that we went for training, the more we felt this was the transition into something different and something new, that not only were we there to support our son, but someday we'll be able to support your son, your daughters, your loved ones.
Yes.
Because now we not only have a first-hand knowledge from a child that we're experiencing this through, but we're also getting the training to help us to put those two together so that we can be best able to serve your needs and our child's need. Even as he's going on into his later life, we're learning more things from him and from the trainings that we also still attended. But how did we get here? It is our son brought us here.
Yes.
Our autistic son. And I'm saying our autistic son because for so many years, I could not allow myself to say that my son had autism. So this is therapy for me to be able to hear myself say this to you, that my child is diagnosed with autism.
Remember the training we went to and they encouraged us to do that, to let others know, this is my son, he has autism.
Yes.
Because we can go in Walmart and he may elope. That means he may run away. He may have loud sounds. He may want a toy and we get to the register and he find out that ain't the toy he want. He may have a meltdown right there. And so it took the anxiety off of us when we would meet new people, or we're going into a restaurant, or we're going to a public place and he's having those behaviors. He's awkward. You know, he's not the typical child. Okay, so we had to embrace that this is Ryan and he has autism. So that took the pink elephant out of the room, if you will.
Yeah, and terminology that we learned from the trainings helped. It helped me.
Yeah.
Because just the term dysregulation is a lot better than that child is being bad.
Yeah.
Because if the child is being bad, you're going to deal with them from another perspective than if they're dysregulated. Right. So what that taught me is that when we let people know that this child has a disability, but we don't want to handicap him.
Right.
That's a difference. You're diagnosed with a disability, but a handicapping can be created by the things you do to work towards that disability.
Yes.
So when I learned those terms, dysregulation, I understood that he was just dysregulated. He wasn't able to control himself in that moment because maybe a sensory situation, hunger, thirst, so many things could be going on. So I had to start looking at it from that perspective instead of I need to correct that behavior, but help him correct his own behavior with some skills that we possibly learned.
And we just started observing and learning. If he walked on his tiptoes, we knew he wasn't balanced, he wasn't centered. And so if we had to move things out of his room, we had to move things out of his way. We would start making more eye contact. Once he could adjust to that, he still couldn't always verbalize his needs, and he is verbal. He's not nonverbal. But early on, again, he wasn't. He never met not one milestone. He never met a milestone. And so educating us in the language, there's so much of a journey that we can share. And I know we won't be able to get it all in one segment, but just educating ourselves is one. If you prefer medication or not, find out what medication works for you. Apply behavior analysis, a therapeutic intervention program that will help him. We had in middle school, there's so many stories about middle school. And that's when some of the tables start turning. But again, there's so many not. I remember days when I had to sit in the back seat. We have a younger son too, who was 4 years younger than Ryan. I would have to sit in the back seat because Ryan would start kicking the seat, and he's driving in a major city. He's driving and he's kicking. We had to start wearing certain clothes or shoes just to even be around him to make sure we're gonna get to point A or point B. And we took pride in making sure that we all looked the part before we went into that place, even if we had to be late, which I don't like, even if we had to sit in a balcony, even if we had to change the way that we did things. We had to adapt to his needs and not him adapt to our needs. And that's what most people want. They want the individual to conform to what society looks like as typical, but that's not his world. So we had to meet him where he was, and he's 27, but this journey has been long. But has it been fulfilling? Yes. But has it been a lot of hurt and pain and discord and uncertainty and confusion and every negative emotion, even disbelief for a moment, not believing that this can't be our life. This can't be our life. Feeling like a hostage in my own home. Like, can I get an outlet? And so, moms, if I can encourage you for self-care, if it's just taking a bubble bath, giving yourself a timeout, saying, I'm just going to go sit and eat at your favorite restaurant. It could be Chick-fil-A, whatever it is. But just sitting and having a moment. Be intentional, because you're going to burn out. You're going to burn out if you don't, because it's every day. It's daily. And of course, there's different types of autism. Now it's traditionally level 1, level 2, level 3, but now with the DSM-5, but when Ryan, it was 5 different diagnoses. But now it's level 1, level 2, level 3. And that's why now in our profession, we are now both licensed professional counselors.
It's because of Ryan.
Because of Ryan.
Yeah.
How did we get here? Because of Ryan Lee White.
Yeah. Again, we know that we're kind of bouncing around because the story is so broad. And we hope in the future to be able to come back and do it more in segments where we talk about different aspects at different times.
Different stages.
Different stages. But right now, we're just this is therapeutic for us. And this is one of the skills that you learn when you have a child with special needs, whether it be autism or any, that you have to have time that you process things in a way that it clears you to be able to see clearer, if that's a word. And the reason why I say that is that sometimes you get so bogged down with the everyday efforts of just to stay afloat that you can't see the clarity. So my wife just stated right now is that there's mothers out there that's doing this alone.
Yes.
We had the opportunity to do it together.
Right.
And it was challenging.
Yes.
We also had the opportunity to do it together from a point of view that we had some understanding about disabilities and issues of the mental health perspective, because we both had master's degrees in counseling at the time.
Yes.
But that did not prepare us
It did not.
fully for what we were going to be up against working with a child and getting him in the best position for him to be successful. So
so now we're advocates.
Yeah.
We could be sitting in a restaurant,
yes,
and
we can
I hope you're
recognize
looking at someone, a parent, and I'll tell my husband, I said, Robert, there go one of ours.
Yeah.
Because now I take pride in that now. There go one of ours. And it'd be a child with autism. And so, but again, there's been more crying and hurt and trying to understand over the smile that you see today. But the journey is well worth it if you pour into the best that you can for you and your family and your loved one. And so we are here for you.
Yeah. And this is not the end of the story. We do hope to get back with a more systematic approach. Today is emotions. We have a lot of emotions going on because this is kind of the first time that we put it on video.
It is.
Of us talking about what we encountered. We have talked to each other in segments about, you remember when this happened? She mentioned a while ago, and it triggered me really bad when she said junior high. Because I'm telling you, God blessed me to be on a job that allowed me freedom. And I was at the school so much that the kids at the school actually thought I was a member of the teaching staff.
Administration?
Well, the teachers thought I was a part of the administration, and I was there trying to watch them. But I was at the school all the time, and the beauty of it is because we knew we had to tag team this thing.
Yes.
That I would never even tell my wife, Linda. I said because she was on her job, I didn't want her to have, because we both are dealing with the same thing, but sometimes we need a break.
Right.
So I was giving her a break during the day, not to even know that her son was over there kicking the teacher or biting the other kid in the class or throwing something
and knock the library books down.
Yeah, knock the whole library down, pretty much.
The book, yeah.
Yeah. But those are some of the things that I shielded from her because there was things that she shielded from me. And we would tag team it because you will wear out if you don't have assistance.
Yes.
So people out there, don't try to carry this alone. Try to implement a team approach. We implement a team approach with working with our child. We have family members that we actually had a team meeting to identify what was going on and keep them abreast of what was happening with Ryan.
And then down the road, we got respite providers, which was family.
Yes.
And I know that's important too. There's so many levels and layers of this, and stages of this. And so you will see us again, and we'll do a recap and break it down into segments. So you can follow it. But we wanted to just give you a gist of who we were, who we are, and by being again Autism Awareness Month. This was the best time to begin to share our story of Ryan.
And again, I didn't say this in the beginning. I am Robert White, Ryan's father, and Linda's husband. So I want to put that on record that's who I am, and I stand by that.
So I approve this message.
I approve this message.